Welcome to the Sports Algorithms for Wednesday, April 27th, 2022. There's a lot to talk about. We are going to do this in under 5 minutes because, I don't want to be bored. If I'm going to do a podcast where I talk for like 20 minutes, I'll do a podcast where I talk for 20 minutes. This is just, do you want some analysis of a few different sports that the algorithms generate projections for? Sorry, I am sick. I don't know if I'm sick, but I have allergy reaction. Like I am congested and Anyway, so I'm tired. Got all these done though, and I want to give you guys projections. So here we go. Basketball. Yesterday was awesome. It was basically perfect if you look at what we projected the scores to be, because there's a spread cover right here, which shows you how much everything won. All right. So what about today? Today, I noticed an interesting problem with the lines. The lines are insane and ridiculous for really low margin games, which means these spreads are insane for these underdogs based on what the margin says, especially this one. Like Denver is supposedly only going to lose this game by 4 at the most. I don't know. So anyway, point is you can't take the favorites today because the margin is not saying that there's any value there. It's saying that this is a closer game than these lines. So either you stay away from everything or you take especially Denver, even though this is 12 points right here. It says this is a 5-point game. But the health on the Bulls is suspect. Somebody's hurt on the Bulls, and we could open it up, but I don't really care. Even though watching NBA was cool when I watched it the other night, but tonight it looks like Golden State maybe closes it out. But if there's going to be an upset, it's going to be the Nuggets is going to be the upset because these healths are kind of high. Okay, so at least they're healthy. Good. How about hockey? Hockey, there's a 5-game schedule, and the one thing you can say about hockey this time of year is if there aren't playoffs on the line, and even when there are playoffs on the line, crazy stuff is happening and ridiculous lines are winning. Like yesterday. Let's glance at yesterday real fast. Yeah, we're only halfway. Glance at yesterday real fast. You can see that it's funny because Minnesota, the number one pick of the day at minus 588, loses 5-3 to Arizona. How does that happen? Minnesota's up 1-0 for like half the game. The answer is because it's hockey. And I think Minnesota already locked up a playoff spot. If you look, it doesn't matter. When it's hockey and it doesn't matter, these lines are insane for what yesterday's lines were. This was insane, and Arizona wins this game outright. They actually covered minus 1.5. But yeah, I had the Coyotes minus 1.5 at plus 1,000, plus 2,000. I don't even know what that line would have been. That's hilarious. It's because it's hockey. So we talk about today. By looking at today's game, you can see that the only crazy line is again Arizona over Dallas. But is Dallas playing for playoffs? I think they are, because they only have right here their points and stuff. They're tied with like Nashville, and the Kings are a point ahead, and although Vegas keeps losing behind them, so it's almost like Dallas is probably in. I don't know. Point is I think Dallas wants to win this game, probably, which is why you're getting this crazy line there. So maybe you have to stay away from that one at least. But are there any other crazy ones? Montreal could beat the Rangers at plus 180. I believe it. In a game that doesn't matter for the Rangers without Shesterkin in goal. Seattle could beat LA. I think LA is in already too. Philly could beat a bad Winnipeg team that's not making the playoffs, right? Where's Winnipeg? They're a terrible, terrible season. Yeah, right here. Look at this. Winnipeg only has 83 points through 79 games. There's disappointments there for Winnipeg. I was playing poker with a commercial real estate guy from Winnipeg just the other night, and nice guy. We of course spanked him at the table. We cracked his pocket aces and we made him rebuy. He actually ran out of money, didn't have any US dollars. We gave him money to keep playing because we were having a good time. He was a nice guy, but his hockey team did not win. So anyway, we're going to go past 5 minutes. So the point is for NHL today, if anything, play some underdogs for fun, but don't care because you can't really predict what's going to happen in NHL on this day. So let's talk about baseball because we're going over time and we haven't even started baseball yet. Instead of making baseball a second video, I'm just making you suffer through this. So what do we have? The answer is I don't even really know yet. I prepared this thing for like half an hour, but like I said, I'm not feeling all that great. Have an allergic reaction. And so I don't know. What do we got? Well, let's take a look. Yesterday was incredible, so just if you didn't see the video about yesterday. Yesterday, the Dodgers ruined basically a perfect day. How about today? Well, we're looking at 2022 stats right now, okay? And let's clean up the screen a little bit. Actually, let's not. Ooh, I'm gonna do something today. Now that we've got time that I've decided I'm just gonna go over indefinitely. Yeah, I'll do another 5 minutes on baseball. We'll try to get to 10-minute video today. We'll do 5 minutes on baseball. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna simulate. That's a pretty good idea. We're gonna simulate the games as if they actually the final score of the game is the exact score that it predicted in this file right now. We're gonna refresh and we're gonna say if we have. Interesting. This shows where the projected score disagrees with the margin, by the way. That's a good way to look at it. That's why they're not all wins. So I'm just like, hey, let's make the final score the exact score we're predicting, and then we have 3 losses. Like, what? Well, that's because, I'll explain why. It's a complicated answer. But that's because the formula that I have here to project the score is not perfectly aligned with the margin. And, so that's something to keep an eye on because it's saying the algorithm's kind of like your spouse. It disagrees with itself and disagrees with you sometimes, right? And so, well, what's going on here? The answer is these are really close games, and we'll do further simulations on those games. But these are pretty solid with margins all above 10%. And if what happened yesterday goes according to plan, right, and you don't have any suspect losses with the Dodgers accidentally hitting into a bunch of double plays and not outscoring Arizona and losing that game late yesterday. If these all win up here, then your profit at this level, where the last game is Atlanta beating the Cubs, this is 9 games right here, you could be at 67% ROI. It means if you bet, $1 a game, you bet $9, you end up with $15 essentially at the end of this. That's pretty good for just straight betting if you got these lines. Now, are all these good games? The answer is, I don't know. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh now with, instead of just 2022 stats, we're going to do last year's stats, which provides more value sometimes this early in the season. However, some of these pitchers, we can't do that because they didn't have stats from last year. Now, Leiter's got AA stats or AAA stats that are better, but look at his 2022 stats. How can you ignore this 11 ERA even though it's 7 innings? He keeps getting rocked every start. So scary, right? So I want to leave that in there for now. But I shouldn't. I mean, well, the other thing is that's not 2020-21. It's AAA. So I will go with the major league stats on him. That's the kind of calls you have to make in this file is what do I do with what do I look at? What's the better number? And, well, let's see also what happens. So the Cubs can potentially win that game if Leiter pitches good. There's no reason to think Leiter will pitch good in the pros, though. And so it ends up being a crazy game where Atlanta outscores them by a lot because they rock him early probably in the first 3 innings. And maybe they pull Leiter super early and get planned for that. I don't know. It's an interesting thought about what might happen there. Oh, it makes me think of something else, but I'm going to refresh for a second, then I'll answer that other question. This is what the look is with everybody that's still in there. So these are the stronger games. That's these top 5 and these and maybe Seattle. And the Mets are already winning right now 4-1. So that moves the Mets game down here. Interesting. I gave them 5 runs. Oh, because they're actually up 4-1 right now, I think. Yeah, so it's 4-3. It's gotten closer, as the algorithm predicted. And this game has gotten closer. So, anyway, these are now interesting. So, if I were to say, let's refresh. Let's make sure this is correct because this is what I'm basically telling you to bet and what I would bet. These are all favorites. Also, by the way, look at that favorite. First underdog pops up here, and Kansas City as an underdog. but they're not highlighted, which means it's the other way around in 2022 stats. Oh, and Ohtani is pitching today. Perfect. We're going over 10 minutes, I'm sure now. Yeah. All right. This is okay. I got to answer this question. So Corey accurately pointed out. By the way, this is I actually don't mind when people comment on my algorithm being functionally or programmingly inaccurate, and when they point out an error. I actually don't get angry at that. I like that, because if you have dug through this enough and you find something that is wrong in its fundamentals in programming and point that out to me, I will change it and hopefully make it better. And I love to hear that, because that's what makes this thing the best ever, and why it's better than basically any human, because it's like a robot, and it's gathering a bunch of information and it's doing the proper calculation on stuff. Corey pointed out that here, the innings per game start doesn't work properly for Ohtani, because Ohtani has different. He plays as a player and a pitcher, and so his games are big, but his starts are small, and so the formula was working off of his games. And so, yeah, it says he pitches 14 innings a game because he actually plays on the other side. So this is wrong. So how do you fix this? Because it affects how much he's good. Actually, 4.7 is right. That right? Isn't that how many? No, this is actually correct for him, right? Because it's using. I believe that's right. But we could carve out a formula, and I do need to update this, which is I need to make sure that it's using his start. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It's right for Ohtani now, but it's wrong for pitchers that aren't starters is the problem. That's the problem. So what we need to do is we need to make this formula apply to either games or games started, and only apply to games started for Ohtani. And everybody else, it can apply to games. And so I'll just carve out that formula. And what's kind of interesting is to show you it's very technical, but to show you why that matters, because it affects this game here. It affects this formula now, which is the projected score formula right here. It affects it because that is going to look at the number of innings that Ohtani is probably going to pitch in this game. And it will try to apply the number of Cleveland runs against his ERA for his expected number of innings. And right now it's saying that he'll pitch 4.7 innings, which I think is actually accurate. So I think it's working right for him. But other pitchers that aren't starters that are starting today might be screwed up, and that happens. And so we will fix this formula, and I won't waste more of your time in this video discussing how I'll do that. But I'll probably just carve out an exclusion for Ohtani in here. But then I need to recheck everything, so I'm not going to waste time in this video to do that. But I will do that. Anybody else had questions? Monitoring the database and turning these results daily into stuff is a complicated procedure because there's a lot of stuff going on over here. It's for another video sometime, but honestly, I'm just losing steam on this and want to get done with this. So it's a lot going on. All right, guys? So if you do one thing today, C's games, right? I think that's it. It's continued to root for. It's obviously showing that these games where there's anything below 10% margin is kind of suspect. But does Seattle move up in 2022 sets? I think they do. And if they do, I say Seattle's probably good again. So let's see. And what is going on here with this? This Ryan Fedner guy, like what happened here? Why does this guy only have 6 innings pitched last year and not pitched at all this year? I want to research that game because that affects some stuff. Where's Seattle? Yeah, Seattle's further up. Seattle's above 10% margin in the 2022 version. So it's supposed to be all these teams, but specifically, you can include Seattle there. Specifically more these teams, right? Yeah, because these are both listers. So what does that mean? It means that Houston's not as big of a favorite over Texas. It means Milwaukee's not as big as a favorite over Pittsburgh. No, this is the 2022 look, right? No, this is 2021. It's saying these games are a little more suspect. It means people think that these games would have won more last year, but this year it's not confirming that because they're not on the this year list, the 2022 list. Get it? So refresh. So that means I'm going to see Houston disappear from the reversal of this, which is, which is all 2022, and I have to just do it like this. Super complicated, right? This is why I can't do this every day. This is crazy, crazy work. This is like database management work. This is big time hard. I understand people are flustered with having to deal with this. So am I. This list, where's Houston now? Houston's now losing to Texas and Glen Otto in this version. But the projected score disagree with this. So this game is a disaster. Houston, Texas just doesn't know what to do except stay away, in my opinion. All right? But this is all supposed to be good, and these are supposed to be good. Okay? Everything in yellow. All right. Good luck, everyone. Mail your picks if you want.